The day Earth was supposed to celebrate peace became the day fear was born. Cities were full of light, children laughed in the streets, and people spoke about the heroes who had saved them so many times before. No one knew that high above the clouds, a shadow was watching everything in complete silence. It was not an enemy from another world. It was not a monster created in a lab. It was the one name every person trusted more than anyone else. It was Goku, but this was not the Goku they knew. His face was calm, but there was no warmth in his eyes. His body floated in the dark sky like a god looking down at ants. For the first time in history, the protector of Earth looked at the planet with no love at all. He looked at it like something that needed to be erased. Far below, alarms suddenly screamed across the world. Power stations shut down without warning. Satellites exploded in orbit. Phones lost signal. Every screen on Earth turned black for 3 long seconds. Then one image appeared on every television, every computer, every billboard. Goku's face filled the screen. People cheered at first, thinking their hero had another message of hope. But no smile came. No laugh followed, only a cold voice that made hearts stop. You had your chance. The world froze. Mothers held their children tighter. Soldiers looked at each other in confusion. Even world leaders could not speak. Then Goku continued. I protected this world again and again. I gave it peace. I gave it time, but humans only create hate, greed, and war. So today, I end the cycle. Across the planet, panic exploded like fire. Cars crashed into each other. Crowds ran through the streets. Some people screamed that it was fake. Others prayed it was a joke. But then the ocean rose 50 feet into the air. Around the world, coastlines trembled as water lifted like invisible hands were pulling it upward. Goku had not moved. He only raised one finger. In Capsule Corp, Bulma stared at the monitors with shaking hands. No, this can't be real. Vegeta stood beside her, eyes narrow and burning with anger. He knew power, he knew pride, he knew madness. But what he felt from Goku now was something worse than evil. It was emptiness. Where is Kakarot? Vegeta demanded. Bulma's voice cracked. He's everywhere. At Kami's lookout, Piccolo felt the planet itself crying beneath his feet. Gohan arrived seconds later, breathing hard. Dad would never do this. Piccolo did not answer right away. He kept staring at the sky. Maybe your father is already gone. In the streets below, people looked up as clouds began spinning into one giant circle over the planet. Lightning struck without thunder. The air became heavy. Animals ran in terror. Even the birds disappeared. Then a golden light broke through the clouds. Goku slowly descended over West City. Millions watched live as their hero floated above the tallest tower. Some still hoped he would smile and say it was training. Some believed he was forcing the governments to change. But then he lifted his hand and erased the tower behind him with one small blast. It vanished into dust. No explosion, no warning, just gone. Screams filled the city. Goku did not blink. Krillin, Android 18, Tyne, and Yamcha rushed into the sky, surrounding him from every side. Krillin shouted first. Goku, stop this now. For a second, Goku looked at his oldest friend. Memories flashed in Krillin's mind, training together, fighting together, laughing together. Then Goku spoke softly. I remember when I cared. Before anyone could react, a shockwave burst from his body and sent all 4 crashing through buildings below. Gohan arrived next, powering into Super Saiyan with rage in his eyes. Dad, Goku turned slowly toward his son. You should have stayed home. Gohan attacked with everything he had. Fast punches, kicks, energy blasts that once shook mountains. But Goku blocked every move with one hand, expressionless. Then he grabbed Gohan by the throat and whispered, This world made you weak. He threw him into the ground hard enough to split the city in half. Silence followed. The people watching could not understand what they were seeing. Their greatest hero had become their final nightmare. In space, the moon cracked from the pressure of Goku's rising energy. On Earth, the ground opened in long burning lines across continents. Volcanoes awakened. Storms formed over every ocean. Vegeta stepped forward at last, aura exploding blue around him. Kakarot, he roared, if you want to destroy this planet, you'll go through me first. Goku finally smiled, but it was not a kind smile. It was the smile of someone who had waited for this moment for a very long time. Good, he said. I was hoping you'd say that. And as the two strongest Saiyans on Earth prepared to fight, deep under the planet's crust, an ancient sealed chamber suddenly opened by itself. Something inside had awakened, because even it was afraid of Goku. Vegeta's roar shook the broken sky as blue fire exploded around his body. Buildings already damaged from Goku's attack cracked even more under the pressure. Dust covered the streets. Fires burned across West City. Millions of people watched from shelters, cars, rooftops, and shattered windows. They could not believe what they were seeing. The two men who had once fought side by side to save Earth now stood ready to destroy it. Goku floated in silence, calm and cold, while Vegeta burned with fury. Between them, the air twisted like heat over a desert. One move from either of them could wipe out everything nearby. Bulma screamed through the communicator, begging Vegeta to move the battle away from the city, but he had already shut it off. He knew there was no more time for plans. If Goku was not stopped now, there might be no Earth left to save. Vegeta rushed first, moving so fast that only a blue flash could be seen. His fist slammed into Goku's face with enough force to break mountains. The shockwave tore clouds apart for miles. But when the smoke cleared, Goku had not moved an inch. He slowly turned his head back and looked at Vegeta with empty eyes. "Too slow," he said. Then he vanished. Vegeta's eyes widened for 1 second before Goku's knee struck his stomach from behind. The Prince of Saiyans coughed blood and flew through 3 towers before crashing into the ground. People screamed and ran as the earth split open around the crater. Vegeta forced himself up, breathing hard. He had trained for years, pushed beyond limits, and still Goku was stronger than ever. Worse than that, Goku was not even trying. At Capsule Corp, Bulma's hands shook over the controls. She activated emergency bunkers and global warning systems, but most satellites were already gone. "Come on, Vegeta," she whispered. Trunks stood beside her, fists clenched. "Let me go." Bulma turned sharply. "No, he's my father, and he needs you alive." Trunks looked at the screens again. Deep inside, he knew something was wrong. This did not feel like normal rage or mind control. Goku's energy was strange, like a black hole hidden inside sunlight. At Kami's lookout, Piccolo helped Gohan stand. Blood ran down Gohan's face, but his eyes burned with pain more than injury. "Why would he do this?" Gohan asked. Piccolo looked toward the sky. Maybe someone broke him. Maybe something inside him finally snapped. Either way, asking questions can wait. He handed Gohan a senzu bean. "Right now we fight." Far below the planet's surface, in the ancient chamber that had opened moments earlier, chains made of glowing stone began to crack. A massive figure sat in darkness, breathing slowly. Its eyes opened like twin suns. It had slept for ages, sealed away by beings long forgot. But now it sensed a power above that threatened the balance of worlds. It spoke one word in a deep voice that shook the cavern. Saiyan. Back in West City, Vegeta rose again, wiping blood from his mouth. He smiled. "Good, now I'm awake." Blue energy burst higher than before as he transformed beyond his normal limit. Lightning danced around him. The ground beneath his feet melted. Goku watched without emotion. "Still chasing me after all these years," he said. Vegeta answered with a grin full of pride. "No, Kakarot, today I surpass you." He attacked like a storm. Punches hit from every angle. Kicks cracked the air. Energy blasts rained across the sky. This time Goku was forced backward. Windows shattered across the city from the force of every strike. People looked up in hope. Maybe Vegeta could win. Maybe Earth still had a chance. Then Goku's face changed. Not anger, not fear, disappointment. He caught Vegeta's next punch with one hand. "This is why I chose to end it," Goku said quietly. "You all keep trying, but none of you grow." He squeezed. Bones cracked in Vegeta's hand. Before Vegeta could react, Goku struck his chest with 2 fingers. A silent pulse shot through Vegeta's body. His eyes went wide. Then all his energy vanished instantly. He dropped from the sky like a stone. Bulma screamed as Vegeta crashed into the ground outside Capsule Corp. Trunks ran toward him, but Vegeta could barely move. "What did you do?" Vegeta gasped. Goku hovered above them all like judgment itself. "I closed the pathways of your power," he replied. "You won't transform again today." Trunks exploded with rage and launched upward. "Leave him alone." He swung wildly, young fury against impossible strength. Goku looked at him for a long second. "You have your mother's heart," he said. Then he flicked 2 fingers against Trunks' forehead. Trunks was blasted across the city and buried in steel and concrete. Bulma fell to her knees in horror. The cameras of the world captured everything live. Hope was dying in real time. Gohan, Piccolo, Krillin, 18, and Tine arrived together, surrounding Goku once more. This time there were no speeches. No warnings, only battle. Goku glanced at them and sighed. Then all of you can fall together. Around the world, oceans kept rising, storms kept growing, and cracks spread through continents. Deep under the sea, ancient machines from forgotten civilizations suddenly powered on. In space, something massive changed course toward Earth after detecting Goku's energy. And in the dark chamber below the planet, the chain being stood to its full height for the first time in 10,000 years. As Gohan charged at his father with tears in his eyes, the creature spoke again. If the hero has become death, then I must become salvation. Gohan charged first, his golden aura tearing through the burning sky like a blade of light. Tears still burned in his eyes, but his face had changed. The son who once hated fighting was gone. In his place stood a warrior ready to stop his own father. Behind him came Piccolo, Krillin, Android 18, and Tine from different angles, each knowing this attack might be their last chance. Below them, West City was breaking apart. Roads had split open. Towers leaned like falling trees. Sirens screamed through smoke and dust. Across the world, billions watched in fear as Earth's defenders made their stand. Goku looked at them all without emotion. "Still pretending teamwork can save you," he said softly. Then the battle began. Gohan's fist came first, powered by grief and rage, but Goku blocked it with one palm. Piccolo's energy beam struck from behind, yet Goku moved an inch and let it pass beside his face. Krillin threw a Destructa disc from above while 18 attacked low and fast, but Goku spun once in place, catching Krillin's attack between two fingers and kicking 18 backward into the clouds. Tine roared and fired a trubum strong enough to flatten mountains. The blast swallowed Goku completely. People around the world gasped and prayed. But when the light faded, Goku still floated there untouched, surrounded by a thin silver barrier. He had not even blinked. "Pathetic," he said. Then he vanished. A shockwave exploded across the city as he reappeared behind Tine and struck him once in the back. Tine crashed into the streets below and did not rise. Krillin rushed in screaming Goku's name, hoping the old friendship was still somewhere inside him. Goku looked at him for a brief second, almost like memory had returned. Then he tapped Krillin's chest lightly. Krillin's eyes widened as all the air left his body. He dropped unconscious toward the earth until 18 caught him at the last second. Her face filled with fury. "You monster!" she shouted. She attacked with machine-like speed, landing punch after punch across Goku's head and body. For the first time, Goku moved back. Hope sparked again. Then he grabbed her wrist mid-strike and whispered, "You were built to fight, but you were never built to win." He hurled her into a mountain beyond the city, where stone exploded like glass. Gohan watched his friends fall one by one, and something inside him finally broke. His aura changed color, flashing gold and white together. The sky darkened as lightning struck around him. Even Piccolo stepped back in shock. Gohan screamed with all the pain of losing peace, family, and trust. Power unlike anything seen before burst from him. Across the planet, sensors exploded trying to measure it. Bulma stared at the numbers and whispered, "He surpassed everyone." Goku turned slowly toward his son. For the first time, interest appeared in his eyes. "There you are," he said. Gohan attacked with savage force. His punch sent Goku through 3 clouds. His kick cracked the air like thunder. He drove Goku across the sky, hitting him again and again, each strike powered by heartbreak. People everywhere began cheering. Maybe the son could save the world from the father. Gohan blasted Goku down into the ocean so hard that a giant wall of water rose over the coast. He followed with a beam of pure white energy that split the sea in half. Steam covered everything. Silence followed. Gohan hovered there, breathing hard, hands shaking. Then a hand reached through the steam and grabbed his face. Goku lifted him by the head with one arm. Blood ran from Goku's lip, but he was smiling. "Excellent," he said. "Now let me show you why Earth must end." He threw Gohan into the sky and raised both hands. A black sun formed above the planet, spinning with dark energy and lightning. Oceans trembled. Volcanoes erupted worldwide. The moon cracked further apart. Every person on Earth felt sudden pressure in their chest as if gravity itself had become angry. Piccolo looked up in horror. He's making a planet killer. Bulma screamed into every channel, ordering all remaining shelters to seal immediately. In hospitals, power failed. In streets, people prayed. In space, the massive unknown object racing toward Earth changed speed again. It was now only minutes away. Deep below the crust, the ancient chamber exploded open. Chains shattered like dust. A colossal armored being rose from the darkness and leaped upward through miles of stone, heading for the surface. Back in the sky, Gohan freed himself and tried to attack again, but Goku struck him in the chest so hard his transformation failed instantly. Gohan fell unconscious, spinning toward the ruined city. Piccolo dived to catch him. Goku turned back to the black sun above his hands. "Goodbye, Earth," he said. Then a giant fist made of stone and glowing metal burst from the ground beneath him and smashed him through the clouds. The black sun wobbled in the sky. Everyone stared upward in shock. From the crater below rose a towering warrior covered in ancient armor, eyes burning like fire, voice deep enough to shake the planet. He pointed at Goku and said, "Saiyan, your judgment begins now." The sky over Earth no longer felt natural. It looked cracked like reality itself was breaking under pressure. Goku floated above the ruined battlefield, still calm and silent, while the armored ancient being stood below him like a mountain made of steel and rage. West City was gone in large parts. Oceans were unstable. Lightning struck without clouds. And above it all the black sun Goku created kept growing darker, pulsing like a living heart waiting to fall. The armored being stepped forward again, each step sending shockwaves through the ground. Its voice was deep and heavy. "You are not a protector. You are a collapse of balance." Goku looked down at it with empty eyes. "Balance is just another word for weakness," he said. The being raised its arm and the ground responded instantly. Giant glowing stone pillars erupted in a wide circle around Goku, forming an ancient seal. Symbols burned across them, creating a prison in midair. Energy chains shot out from the pillars and wrapped around Goku's body, arms, legs, chest, locking him in place. The pressure became so strong that even the air felt heavy. For a moment the world stopped. Bulma watched from Capsule Corp, shaking. "It's holding him," Piccolo narrowed his eyes. "No, not for long." Goku slowly looked at the chains and spoke quietly. "You think this stops me?" He pulled slightly. One chain cracked, then another. The armored being's eyes widened. "Impossible," Goku's voice stayed calm. "I told you I'm past rules now." The chains suddenly exploded outward in a massive shockwave. The pillars shattered one by one like glass. Dust and energy spread across the battlefield, shaking the planet. When the light faded, Goku was standing free again, but something was wrong. A darker tone had started mixing inside his aura like shadows hiding inside sunlight. Vegeta noticed it immediately, struggling to stand. "He's changing." Piccolo's expression tightened. That wasn't normal power. The armored being took a step back for the first time. Goku slowly looked at his hand, almost studying himself. "Interesting," he said. "Even that wasn't enough." Then he looked up at the black sun in the sky. It reacted instantly, pulsing harder. Goku raised one finger toward the armored being. A small sphere of energy formed, silent, compressed, unstable. The armored being prepared to move but stopped. Its head turned upward suddenly. Something else had arrived. In the sky above Earth, a massive object broke through the atmosphere. It was not a meteor, not natural. A giant ship entered orbit, burning through clouds and tearing the sky open. Bulma's sensors screamed. Unknown vessel detected, massive energy readings. Even Goku paused for a fraction of a second. The armored being spoke in a lower voice. "This is not part of your war." Goku slowly lowered his hand. Then it just became one. The ship stopped above Earth, and its surface opened. Thousands of energy signatures awakened at once. The massive ship hung over Earth like a second moon, blocking what was left of the broken sky. Its surface opened wider, and a deep mechanical sound echoed across the planet like a warning bell for extinction. Thousands of energy signatures activated at once, spreading across scanners, sensors, and human instincts. Every living being felt it, something far beyond Earth had arrived. On the battlefield, Goku stood still watching the ship with calm interest, while the black sun above him pulsed harder, reacting to the new presence like it had found competition. The armored being shifted slightly, its stance becoming more defensive. Even it understood this was not part of any old prophecy. From the ship, the first wave descended. Dark armored figures dropped in perfect formation, landing across ruined cities at the same time. Each step cracked the ground, each breath carried pressure like gravity increasing. They did not speak, they only scanned. Bulma's voice broke through remaining communication channels. They're everywhere, all continents are getting hit at once. At Capsule Corp, Trunks forced himself to stand again, still injured. We can't even track them. Piccolo clenched his fists. This isn't an invasion, it's a takeover. One armored invader landed near Gohan's unconscious body. The air around it turned heavy as it slowly raised its hand. Before it could move, a blast of energy struck it from above. Vegeta, barely standing, had attacked without thinking. "Don't touch him," Vegeta growled. The invader turned its head slowly, then moved without sound or warning. In a single blink, Vegeta was slammed into the ground, cracking streets for miles. He coughed blood, trying to rise, but his body refused. Above them, Goku finally spoke. "So, this is what came after me." The armored being answered from below. "No, this came because of you." Goku tilted his head. "Explain." The being looked at the ship. "Your power broke the signal barrier of this world," it called them. "They are harvesters. They consume unstable worlds." For the first time, the situation felt larger than Earth itself. The black sun above Goku pulsed harder, reacting to the ship. One invader suddenly stopped mid-motion and turned its head directly at Goku. Its body froze. Then every invader on Earth paused at the same time. Silence fell across the battlefield. Piccolo felt it instantly. "They sensed him," Bulma whispered in fear. "No, don't tell me." All invaders slowly turned in one direction. Goku, from the ship above, a deeper command signal activated. A cold, ancient voice spread across Earth. "Subject detected, Omega-level anomaly." The armored being narrowed its eyes. "So they finally see you." Goku smiled faintly. "Good, I was getting bored." The sky darkened further as the ship prepared its main weapon. Energy gathered across its surface, forming a massive beam aimed at Earth. Bulma screamed through systems. "That's planet-level energy. It'll wipe everything out." Vegeta forced himself to look up. "Kakarot, if you're going to play God, now's the time." Goku slowly raised his hand toward the incoming destruction. But before he acted, the armored being stepped in front of Earth, raising its defense. "If you don't stop this now, there will be no world left to rule." Goku's eyes narrowed as the beam fully charged above them, and Earth waited for either salvation or extinction. The sky above Earth turned completely dark as the alien ship reached full charge. A massive beam of energy formed at its core, stretching wider and brighter with every second until it looked like a second sun ready to fall. The pressure alone crushed windows across continents. Oceans stopped moving for a moment, as if the planet itself was holding its breath. On the battlefield, Goku stood still with his hand raised halfway, eyes locked on the destruction above. The armored being stood in front of Earth like a final wall, its ancient armor glowing brighter as it prepared to take the full impact. Piccolo carried Gohan behind broken debris while Vegeta struggled to stand again, refusing to stay down. Bulma's voice cracked through every surviving channel. "If that beam hits, there will be nothing left." The ship fired. A giant column of energy descended from the sky like the end of time itself. The moment it touched the atmosphere, storms exploded across the world. Mountains began to shake and crack. Cities already destroyed were erased further into dust. The armored being stepped forward and raised both arms, creating a glowing barrier that collided with the beam. The impact created a soundless explosion that spread across the horizon. Even sound itself seemed to disappear for a second. The being screamed under pressure as cracks formed in its armor. "Hold the line," it forced out. Goku slowly lowered his hand and watched the scene. "You're trying to save them," he said calmly. "Even now." The armored being gritted its teeth. "Not them, the balance." Goku tilted his head. "Balance died the moment I stopped caring." The barrier began to break. Energy slipped through, tearing the ground apart. Piccolo shielded Gohan as debris flew everywhere. Vegeta clenched his fists and roared, forcing one last burst of energy, flying straight toward the beam itself. "I refuse to let this be the end," he shouted. But the moment he entered the energy field, his aura started to burn away. He pushed forward anyway, using every last drop of strength to slow the beam for just a few seconds. On Earth, people watched in silence as their strongest fighters were being erased one by one. Bulma fell to her knees. "This can't be happening," she whispered. Goku finally moved. He stepped forward into the air and raised his hand fully now. For the first time since the battle began, he focused completely. A strange silence spread around him as his dark aura mixed with light, becoming unstable but far more intense. The beam touched the armored being's barrier and started breaking it apart. Cracks spread across the shield like lightning. The being turned its head slightly toward Goku. "If you have any connection left to this world, now is the time." Goku looked at the beam falling toward Earth, then at the broken battlefield below where his friends were still trying to stand. For a moment, something flickered in his eyes, not anger, not power, memory. Then it disappeared again. He raised one finger toward the sky. "I don't need connection," he said softly. "I need control." A small point of energy formed at his fingertip. At first it looked insignificant compared to the beam, but then space itself began to bend around it. The armored being's eyes widened slightly. "That energy, it's not Kai." The beam struck the ground-level barrier and finally shattered it. The armored being was pushed back, armor breaking further as it lost strength. Vegeta collapsed completely, unable to move anymore. Piccolo's eyes widened in shock. "We're out of time." But before the beam could hit Earth fully, Goku flicked his finger upward. The small energy point expanded instantly into a massive black ripple that collided with the descending beam. The two forces clashed in midair and froze the entire sky. A deadlock formed between destruction and something far worse. Goku's expression stayed calm, but his aura darkened slightly again. "Interesting," he said. "They're strong." From the ship above, the command voice changed tone for the first time. "Anomaly resistance increasing. Begin extraction protocol." The battlefield shifted again as multiple beams from the ship locked onto Goku directly. The armored being shouted for the first time. "They're not trying to destroy Earth anymore, they're trying to take him." Goku looked up at the new beams targeting him from all directions and smiled slightly. "So that's what I am to them." And as the sky filled with descending light from every direction, Earth finally realized the truth. This was no longer a battle for survival. It was a battle for ownership. The entire sky of Earth turned into a storm of light as multiple energy beams from the alien ship locked directly onto Goku. The battlefield that was already broken now looked like the center of an apocalypse. Every beam carried the same command: extraction, not destruction. The armored being realized it first and shouted with a cracked voice, "They are not here to kill Earth, they are here to take him alive." Piccolo's eyes widened as he carried Gohan further back behind collapsing ruins. Vegeta lay on the ground, barely conscious, but his eyes still followed Goku. Bulma's voice trembled through the broken communication system. "If they take him, Earth is finished anyway." Goku stood alone in the center of all the targeting beams, his body unmoving as light surrounded him from every direction. His dark aura flickered between control and chaos. For the first time, even the invaders paused as if waiting for permission from him. The ship's voice echoed again, colder than before. "Omega anomaly confirmed, initiating full capture." The beams tightened, pulling space itself toward Goku like chains made of gravity. The ground beneath him cracked and lifted as reality bent. The armored being tried to move forward but was forced back by pressure alone. "He will tear your system apart if you take him," it shouted. Goku slowly looked up at the sky. His expression was calm, almost empty, but something deeper was shifting inside him. Memories flashed for a fraction of a second: friends, battles, Earth, but they were quickly swallowed by silence again. "Take me," he said softly. The air around him darkened. "You think I belong to anyone?" In that instant, his energy exploded outward without warning. The capture beams shattered instantly as a massive shockwave spread across the planet, pushing back every invader at once. The sky cracked like glass, and the alien ship trembled for the first time since its arrival. Bulma fell back in shock. He broke their system. Vegeta's fingers moved slightly as he whispered, "Kakarot, what are you becoming?" Gukka rose slowly into the air, now fully surrounded by a strange fusion of light and shadow. The black sun above him collapsed into his aura, merging completely. His presence alone made the atmosphere unstable. The ship's voice changed for the first time, showing hesitation. "Unclassified evolution detected. Threat level beyond Omega." The armored being looked up in disbelief. He didn't resist it, he adapted to it. Gukka raised his hand toward the ship. "You came here to harvest," he said, "but you forgot something." He clenched his fist slightly. The entire alien fleet across Earth stopped moving at once. "I don't run from hunters," Gukka continued. "I become the end of them." The invaders began collapsing one by one as their systems failed. The energy inside them reversed, tearing them apart from within. Panic spread through the ship as alarms echoed across space. "Containment failure, all units destabilizing." The armored being looked at Gukka with shock and understanding. "You are not their prey," it said quietly. "You are their extinction event." Gukka's aura expanded one final time, covering the sky in a massive wave of energy that pushed the alien ship backward. The command voice screamed one last order. "Abort mission, withdraw, withdraw," but it was too late. The ship began breaking apart in orbit as its systems failed completely. Fragments burned through the sky like falling stars. On Earth, silence returned slowly. Wind moved again. Oceans calmed slightly. The pressure lifted. Vegeta tried to stand but collapsed again. Piccolo looked up cautiously. Bulma whispered, "Did we survive?" Above them, Gukka floated alone in the sky, looking at the falling pieces of the alien ship. His aura slowly stabilized, but something inside him was still not fully human anymore. The armored being stepped forward one last time. "You ended the invasion, but you did not end the problem." Gukka looked down at it. "There is no problem," he said calmly, "only what's left." For a moment everything was quiet. Then deep in space, far beyond the destroyed ship, something else responded to Gukka's awakening. A presence far older than the invaders and far more aware. Gukka slowly turned his gaze upward again, as if he had felt it too. And for the first time since the beginning of the battle, even he stopped smiling.